So one more time, hello, good afternoon. In my next video, here I would like to show you certain things, but unfortunately I made a big mistake because I forgotten to switch on my camera. My GoPro, this is not GoPro, this is icon camera, but it doesn't matter. But it was switched off all the time, therefore you can see the marks already here. But never mind, we have certain spare parts. What I would like to introduce you in my new experiment, this is the hatching ready, let's say, set of the eggs. Very nice, because we can see here are green shells and I don't know what kind of shells, like light brown shells and normal brown shells. Yeah. Especially these green shells I very like, because those are very excellent quality, the eggs. From Aracuana, maybe you know this Aracuana. Hence, you see that they have a little bit tendency to be a little bit. Here is defection. Yeah, that's defection. Okay, we will see. Okay, we reclassify this defect here. I will tell you why. Yeah, there is defection. Okay, because it's eruption here. Okay, we have different. This is like it should be here, and yeah, we have a different kind of eggs here. Let's start from the B, marked B. The B eggs are the eggs with category of bad. What's bad? If you look at the egg, here is some kind of bowl. Yeah, like when you hit your head very strongly. I don't know if it's visible on the camera, but it's really bowl here. I will try to check. Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit, it's visible, I think. In spite of, yeah. Now you can see that here is like a shadow, because it's not normal. All these are having the same defect. Yeah. Okay, here you see all this. This one is having a small eruption here. You see that it's already, yeah, it's erupted here towards the egg, and this one is very small. Yeah, you cannot see that it's so small, but it's really in comparison with the others, it's very teeny, very small, and very it's hard to say, but it's hard to see, but it's a very teeny shape, like extremely. You see here that it's extremely incredible, because it's not possible to fix. Also, you can see that this is fixing, and this is like very volatile inside this saddle. These eggs, which are marked as a F, means that are supposed to be females. I need to get more light, I think. Ooh, okay, I'm going to take some more. Okay, and here what are marked like F, it means that I'm supposed to be females. Now I'm going to show you the difference between males and females. If I take all these are females from this quadrant to that quadrant, so it means all these, I don't know how many eggs, 6, 4, 25 eggs. So I should have 25 ladies here, if I don't consider these bad eggs. The aim of the experiment is to prove something. What is saying, or what is trading and saying, that if you are supposed to have female. The eggshell is a little bit more rounded than the male eggshell, but here is the male, for instance. This one is the male. Yeah, I will write it later. And if I take, for instance, let's say this one is supposed to be female, and if I compare them, yeah, but it's very hard to see on camera. Maybe you see that here is much sharp roundness, and here is much smooth roundness. It's a little bit it's seen on the camera, I think, but you have to compare always the same eggs from the same hen, because if you compare this, which is supposed to be as a male from certain hen, let's say Jenny, and you took another from hen Katie, and you compare them, so you should say that this Katie is much sharper than this one. It means that this is supposed to be male, but because it's different hen and it's different anatomy of the egg, but when I compare the same roundness here with the same from the hen, with the same egg from the hen, okay, this is like a very small difference indeed. Yeah, I took maybe not the proper one. For instance, this one, we see that the roundness here is much greater than the roundness here. Here is much stronger, much sharper, much greater spike here, like going the gradient much. You know, it's much spiking. This and this is smoother, much smoother roundness. So we have to compare like this way. Okay. And this is my goal, that I divided the eggs according to this theory to females, males, and something like extra strip of the eggs, which I'm not supposed to be hatched, because it's also very important information for the future, whether to load or not to load such kind of eggs which are having some deviations or damages, if they are supposed, because you could see on YouTube that someone in China is hatching egg on a glass cup or whatsoever, and he's put the glass cup into microwave, maybe oven, and after 21 days he's showing you, okay, hurrah, there is living chicken inside. Yeah, this is bullshit. Like these generators of the energy, this like perpetuum mobile generators that you connect mechanically alternator from your car with some motor, and reversely alternator is feeding the motor, and motor is turning alternator with the more energy than its feed inside. Yeah, this is bullshit. Also the second one. Yeah, and you can see a lot of bullshits on the YouTube channel. So, but this is really serious scientific, not scientific, but semi-scientific experiment, which can prove me and get me some data. And this data would be very valuable for me, because I need to be more efficient, especially this is not important, this is something like extra data line that if they are not hatched, because I'm not so, let's say, curious. You see that I have still free spots here, because of it's very problematic for me to collect so many eggs to feed all this high capacity hatching machine. But it would be very valuable for me, especially the females and males, because I have, since there is hatched successful hatching, and since then I have always a little bit big problem with what to do with males, because I need maybe 1 or 2 males for myself, but that I have no big yard to feed up all the males, and they are they are fighting very they are fighting very intensively between among them and among everything, you know. That's like they are fighters, especially these green shells are fighters, and after then if there are such a, we call it like necks, neck, you know, neck, human neck, and I don't know if it's the same neck on the poultry, but they have no feeders on the neck, and they are very fighters, very big fighters. And they are very drastic fighters, yeah. So I would like to be very careful on it. The second issue on this hatching machine is the temperature. Here is the NTC element for the temperature regulation. I would like just emphasize, as I did it once before, but we switched off camera, that be very careful on the temperature, because last time I established temperature 37.7 degrees on this display, but this NTC, even if you put it somewhere close to the egg like here, is not showing you let's say true temperature when there is higher humidity than normal humidity. I don't know why humidity is somehow changing this element, because I used another external the same NTC element, and it's showing me absolutely the same temperature on the display. But when I put there normal mercury temperature for humans, which is calibrated from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, it has shown me absolutely different temperature. So I was very disappointed from this, because all of my hens were crappy and have a lot of thermal damages. The thermal damages, they yeah, if you have fortune, they will not hatched, because it's much greater for you. Then after then, when they hatched, even they are degenerated, and yeah, invalid to leave standalone. So that's like that you have to kill your babies here, because they are suffering, and it's not allowed to let them suffer. So this is like disaster, much the biggest disaster when you have such let's say fatal hatching. So be careful. This is like lesson learned for me, that it's better to have a lower temperature, because when you have lower temperature, what could only happen, that some of the eggs will not hatch, because maybe in the border there is too low temperature, and if it's let's say if it's too low for division of the cells, it will show you that there is nothing happening inside the fertilized eggs. So all these eggs should be fertilized, and we will see. I put them from the fridge just a couple of hours ago. You can leave them up to next morning, or I'm going to leave them here to stabilize the temperature and stabilize the humidity, to starting something like breathing normally, because they are still wet from the condensation, because they are too cold but not so wet now. But you can let them stabilized, and you can start the machine in the next day, very early morning. Yeah, and this would be like good. And I'll be set up in 37 degrees Celsius, because 37 is enough. It's the bottom limitation of still very reliable hatching. But when I set up 37.7, I measured with the mercury temperature 38.3 or 38.8 degrees, and it's too much for normal evolution inside the shell, egg shell. So thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll be let's say, keeping you updating. I hope that there won't be any electricity outage like it used to be last time because it was a really stressful time for me, but anyway, here is much greater temperature, so there won't be so degradation of the temperature inside, because I'm using this insulation, and I covering over there is another insulation, prepare it to put it on the top, and I am keeping all the stuff inside insulated, let's say, condition. I'm always thinking to buy some uninterruptible power source for these reasons, but I'm not hedging too much, so it'll be just maybe wasting of my money, because it's still very reliable, the electricity network here. Okay, thank you very much and have a good time. Bye.